Hi, I'm La Nonchalance for 4:30 PM, and I'm really happy to show you our very first project, the CHOSAT Synth and the CHOSAT effect. They are especially designed to produce heated and pressurized sound. In this first part walkthrough video, I will explain every section of the synth so that you can make the best use out of it. But first, let's hear some presets so that you can have an idea of what kind of sound and texture you can obtain with it. In the first tab named Generators, you will find the globals, the generators, the modulations, and the very heart of this instrument, the CHOSAT engine. But let's get through them one by one. We will start with the global section. The controls in this section will affect the whole signal generated. Inside, there is your classic ADSR envelope, plus the AS, DS, and RS sliders that control the shape of the attack, delay, and the release curve respectively. Below the envelope, you will find the pitch controls, the voices options where you can choose between polyphonic, monophonic, and triggered note. You can also decide if the new note will replace the old one smoothly, brutally, or completely restored. This is a useful feature for monophonic patch. We'll have the glide feature, and finally the arpeggiator module. In the generator section, we have 2 oscillators, 1 subgenerators, and 1 noise generators. The oscillators have your usual control like the volume, the panorama, the octave, the semitone, and the fine tune. The wave slider works like a wavetable and lets you move between the wave shape. The stereo slider lets you widen your sound, but be careful. When it's all the way down, the signal becomes monophonic. Then you have a saturation slider. And you can enable a filter module that have a high pass, low pass, notch, bandwidth, and peak filter. The subgenerator shares some feature with the previous oscillators. The differences are that you can only choose between octave -1 and octave -2. The filters are restricted to high pass and low pass filter, and you will find the presence of bass and sub controls. Same thing with the noise. It's identical to the oscillators except for the type slider that allows you to swap between different kinds of noise. I will usually recommend you to design your sound by ears, but if you want to get a little bit more precise, note that you can enter an exact value by double-clicking on some of the controls. You have certainly seen those two boxes under many of the controls. Those are controls for modulations. The upper box lets you select your modulation source. The bottom box lets you control the depth of the modulation in positive and negative value. In terms of modulation source, you will have access to 3 LFOs, 3 envelopes, 2 attacks, 2 random, and 1 random per note. The random per note modulation is accessible through the modulation source box. In the LFO modulation, you will find different wave shapes. You will be able to control the speed of the modulation by rate or synced note length with the sync switch. They also possess useful smooth sliders that will soften the shape of waveform like the rectangle or the saw. The envelope will work the same way as the one present in the global section. The attack will allow you to go from one value to another. You can control the speed and the shape of the modulation. The random, as its name implies, will modulate randomly inside a designed range. You can control the speed of the modulation and the smoothness of transitions between each random value. Finally, the random per note modulation will allow you to change randomly a value inside a designed range each time you press a note. You will find selectors on the top of each modulation section to choose the modulator number that you need. Now we arrive at the very heart of this synth, the CHOSAT module. This part is the soul of this instrument, that will give the texture and the particularity of the sound. It will contain a chorus and a saturator effect that are always activated. In the chorus part, you will be able to control the rate, the range, the width, and the number of voices. Usually, chorus are modulated with sound wave, but in this module, you can choose between different kinds of waveform. This particularity enables interesting sound behavior. You also have a smooth slider similar to the one inside the LFO that will soften the shape of some waveform. Note that the chorus controls allow you to go pretty wide in the setting. I highly recommend you to experiment with it. You will be surprised with the kind of result that you can obtain. In the saturator part, you will be able to control the input, the output, the drive, the second and fifth sliders that control the amount of the second and fifth harmonic from -100 to +100. And finally, the tap slider will allow you to select your saturation mode. The input and output slider play an important role here. You will often need to adjust the two controls to obtain the saturation balance that you are aiming for. Now we can go to the next tab named Effect. In this tab you will find an equalizer, a filter, a compressor, a delay, and a reverb. The equalizer is a 12-band graphic equalizer with a Q knob for each band. The filter will have your usual frequency and resonance knob, but also a drive knob to add harmonics and an output knob for controlling the output level. You can modulate the frequency knob with an LFO, or an envelope. The modulation system here is a bit different. You can set your modulation using a minimum and maximum value knob. The compressor has your classic input and output knob, a visual representation of the compression, and a threshold, ratio, attack, and release control. In the delay, you will find a wet, a feedback, a drive, and a gain knob. You will have a sync slider to adjust the note length of the delay, you can choose between different sync types, and you can also offset the delay individually in the left and right here. Finally, the reverb has a wet, a early late, a length, and a gain knob. You will be able to adjust the size and the widening of the reverb. And you will have a low cut and high cut controls that will come handy in many situations. To finish the last one, the Global tab. This tab lets you choose your preference settings. Here you can adjust the velocity shape to your liking and define the pitch bend range. The analog depth slider will allow you to obtain an analog feeling by adding random variations or multiple controls like a real analog synth will do. The analog speed slider controls the speed of those random variations. Last information. A saturator effect is linked to the Aftertouch and the mod wheel. You can play with it to add more life to your performance. From there, you will have all the key in hands. In the second part video, we will learn how the CHOSAT effect works and see what it can do in context. Till then, take care, bye bye.